it takes a village, and our village within the Quad Cities has said, okay, they have said yes to Argrow's house. And because they've said yes to Argrow's house, let's do this together. Let's help women heal. Let's journey together hand in hand, be it through buying a soap from Argos House
Yep.
or donating or volunteering their time. We've been able to move this because of our Quad City Village.
Where do you find a family of communities connected by the storied Mississippi River, where young explorers and dreamers, investors and entrepreneurs thrive? Where can you connect with real people living and creating in a place that's as genuine as it is quirky? QC. That's where.
Welcome to QC That's Where. I'm Katrina with Visit Quad Cities, and I am so honored to be here today with Dr. Kit Ford, the founder and director of Argrow's House of Healing and Hope. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm excited to talk to you. We talked a little earlier, and we've gotten to see kind of the growth and the development and the changes of Argrow's house, and I would love to just kind of have you dive into what it is, what's your mission, and how has it become a name of the Quad Cities?
Yeah. Well, we are a healing house for women. We so we have a home in Davenport, Iowa, where we started, humble beginnings. It's a 3-bedroom facility where we serve women survivors of violence. Now we have a community center where we have free holistic services for women survivors of violence. And also the thing that makes us unique is that we have a bath and body product company where we make soaps and lotion, bath bombs and other items, handmade with a lot of love by the ladies that we serve. We're able to pay them a good living wage with our profit. And so this is what we call a social enterprise. And so, our work is very deeply connected to providing trauma-informed care to be able to serve women, survivors of violence, and their children.
So ballpark, do you know how many women you've been able to serve through the
Yeah,
mission?
yeah. I mean, over the last 4 years, we have been able to serve about 300 women and children right now. So the thing about Argos House is that we have a community of women that have been in a community for years, some 3 years, some all 4 years, some 2 years. And so, healing is a journey. And so, we try and provide a safe space and community for support groups, but also for the ladies to be able to connect socially, to be able to do things mind, body, and spirit to encourage each other. We even have a group meet chat where all the ladies kind of check in throughout the day and other things so that they can know that they're not alone when something comes up that's important to them, be it traumatic or be it very exciting news. One of our ladies just bought a house.
Yay.
Another one of our ladies just started a business,
Oh
another
gosh.
has custody of her children now. So they want to share these things with each other, through the good and the bad. And so it's really beautiful to see those relationships continue over the years and to evolve over the years. So right now, we serve women and children. Right now, we have about 27 women in the community and 44 children. And so we have recently opened a community center in Moline, right off of Avenue of the Cities, right next to Hy-Vee, right across from Aldi's and George's Cleaners. But we also have a storefront. And so this has allowed us to have a space for our social enterprise and a home where we can do really fun things together,
Yeah.
which is nice. And then also be intentional about growing and expanding our business. So, we had a very small kitchen in the home in Davenport
Hmm.
where we produce all of our products. In our counseling room, we used to have 2,000 soaps lined up against the
Oh
wall.
my gosh.
We had our packaging in the basement, so very humble beginnings. Now we actually have space to get industrial equipment. We just got our first industrial dishwasher where it cuts down our soap making dishwashing from 1 hour to 60 seconds.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really going to help with our production, and then also our productivity and our profit margins as well.
That's awesome. And it's probably, kind of looking back at the Davenport startup, like it's probably kind of cool memories for the ladies who got to be part of, the days where we had to line the soaps up against the wall and didn't have, necessarily a business style counter place to, keep everything. So
Humble beginnings, but by having the humble beginnings, we were able to pay off our mortgage, so we own the house outright, and we were able
awesome.
to, save $100,000 to renovate this space into a really beautiful space. So we're debt free in that regard, which is great. So humble beginnings, but by doing that and saving and putting our resources to do good, and be mindful of how we spent our resources has allowed us to be able to have two spaces to call our own, which is a blessing.
And the product line, all the recipes are created and mastered and perfected by you all.
So I am by training a theology professor, a chaplain, a spiritual director, community development worker, and so bath and body cosmetic scientist or chemist is not my vocation. Um, However, I knew that Bath and Body social enterprise was possible because of a model in Nashville, Tennessee, called Thistle Farms. Reverend Becca Stevens, who is now my mentor, that I'm grateful for. When I was a seminary student in Berkeley over 10 years ago, I visited Thistle Farms. They have a 2-year residential facility for women survivors of sex trafficking and prostitution and addiction. And they have a bath and body product company. They really specialize in lovely candles, and also natural bath and body products as well. We make things that are different from them. They don't make soap, they don't make bath bombs. And so we actually have started to do some partnering with their company, because we kind of complement some of their products. But I knew that it was possible to create a bath and body product social enterprise this survivor made. And so, at the time, I was teaching full time at St. Ambrose when I started in December of 2017. And At night, I would go to Crafted Quad Cities, which was open at the time, downtown
Yeah.
Davenport. And I learned how to make bath bombs. I learned about essential oil blends and how to mix oils. And so I had those initial classes and books to assist me. What really helped me with perfecting our recipes moving forward. So years ago, I was a Peace Corps volunteer on an island nation called St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean. And I used to take a group before COVID of missionaries back every 2 years to serve in that community. When I went in 2018, in February of 2018, we had just started Argrow's house, and I saw these beautiful, beautiful natural soaps in their national museum. And I had the contact information of the amazing lady named Anastasia who makes them. And so I said, this lady has to be the Argos House bath and body chemist, like coach. And so I reached out to her. I met her while I was on the island, and she said, okay, I'll assist you. So she helps us with every recipe that we create, and she, journeys with us every step of the way. Most of her ingredients are literally in her backyard, but we're able to, source the ingredients here in America as well. And she's really assisted us with perfecting the science in our recipes. It usually takes on average about 4 to 6 months to perfect these recipes. But yep, we got a really great mentor. Right now we have a cosmetic scientist intern from Augustana, that's from Vietnam. She does a great job with assisting us. We were just in the kitchen, perfecting our shower bomb recipe that we'll be launching in a couple of months. And so, we have a really good team of people that assist us in perfecting the recipe. Once we perfect it, I'm able to teach the ladies, and then they teach each other. So yeah, it's a journey, but we've been able to create some really beautiful things. And I think because of my background coming from the South and also living in the Caribbean and throughout Africa, I kind of see things in color. So I always wanted our products to be colorful and vibrant and, while also being handmade with a lot of love. So you'll see a lot of color that's made with natural micas and other natural ingredients, but you'll see a lot of color and vibrancy with our products as well.
Yeah, and you guys do a subscription box, which
Yeah,
one of our employees here at Visit Quad Cities subscribes to the monthly
yeah.
version of it. So we got to do an unboxing with her the other day, and that was
Uh,
a lot of fun, a lot of cool surprises come in that. And
Yay. But
um,
one thing we had to do during the pandemic, most of our customers were in person. And so we had created and started to create a network of, customers through markets, through women's conferences and other things. We had an online store, but we didn't really focus as much on that because we did a lot of in-person and sales.
sure,
But when the pandemic hit, we had to figure it out. We had to shift, we had to pivot our business. And part of that pivot was creating a subscription box where we had one full size or two of our products. And then we started to partner because I had relationships with other survivor made social enterprises around the world. We were able to partner with and still partner with other women survivor organizations that make beautiful products. So we feature every month a woman artisan or a woman artisan group from around the world. So this month, you all just unboxed it. We featured our rose for Valentine's Day. We featured a rose bath body wash, rose lotion. Then we had a beautiful Maasai beaded bracelet handmade in Tanzania, where the profit goes to support the women, but also orphans in Tanzania. And then we had beautiful beaded earrings handmade by women in Haiti. And so we try and keep the attention of our subscribers by having fun things, but also it helps to grow our business while we're supporting ourselves, but also other women social entrepreneurs too.
developing partnerships across the world.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
really grateful. And one thing that has helped me with that, I'm recently, I'm really grateful that God has trusted me with leadership in different areas. I just joined the Global Council for Thistle Farms, which is connected to global fair trade initiatives among global partners, survivor organizations. And so there are over 51 of us, sister organizations, and many organizations around the world that are supporting women. So by being a part of that Global Fair Trade Committee, I'm able to network and really understand the authentic, really powerful, really committed organizations around the world doing this work. And now as Argos House and our subscription box, we're able to partner with them and source our shop in Moline with beautiful things from around the world.
Yeah, and for time reference, we are in February 2022. So if you're listening to this or watching this in the future, you guys have just this month, right, opened up in Moline, or was it last month?
Yeah, we just recently opened up in Moline in October of
October.
2021. However, it's taken some time to get the proper plumbing, in the space and other things. So we literally just finished our plumbing here last Friday. So you're
Oh, yay!
February 2022. And so we're just able to move production fully from the house to this facility. So now we actually have the unveiling of the house with all of the decorations and other things on Monday. And it's a 6-bedroom facility for women survivors where they can live for free for up to 6 months. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So you're right. I mean, this journey is still taking some time because we want to make sure that our properties are state of the art, that we're able to have the best possible resources for our women, for our business, and also for women fleeing abuse. And it takes some time to do that. So we take one step at a time, but we have major community partners through private donors, and also through organizations and foundations like the Moline Foundation, community, Quad Cities Community Foundation, and other organizations that have really been instrumental in us being able to move forward. So thank
And
you.
yeah,
And Quad Cities as well. Woo-hoo.
right, yeah, that's right.
Quad Cities has started to bring tour groups here where they tour the facility, meet some of the ladies, but they also have bath bomb parties and other things
And
during
people
their,
can learn how to make them.
yep, and people can learn how to make products here. So they leave with the products that they made, and it's a lot of fun. So it's nice to start partnering with Visit Quad Cities on those tours. It's been really, really a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we love it, and just centering back on the mission, everything you guys do is, yeah, is bringing services of healing to victims. So we are so, again, happy to talk to you about all of this. And I did want to know Argrow's house. The name is named after your grandmother. If you could expound on that and just how that came to be.
Yeah. So Argrow is actually my first name, my daughter's middle name, but it's my grandmother's first name as well. So we're all kind of named after her. My aunt's name is Argrow as well. So it's a
Oh, that's so cool. It's a family tradition.
family tradition, a family name. My grandmother, I'm from a very small town in North Carolina. Now we have an outlet mall, which is like, what?
That's
Um,
so cool.
I know, which means that just a lot of growth. I'm from a small town called Mebane, but it's not too far from Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh, Triad area. And so a lot of growth has happened there over the last 20 plus years since I left there. My grandmother at the time, it was very normal for girls to marry very young. So she married at the age of 14 years old. My grandfather was 27 years old. I remember some really positive things about him. He was very tall. It's one of the reasons my mom is tall and I'm tall. But he was very tall, very handsome. He played horseshoes, and I remember he used to drink Coca-Cola in a glass bottle, and he would put peanuts in the Coca-Cola.
Oh,
I guess it's a Southern thing,
okay. I'll have to try that.
sweet and salty, very interesting. But I remember he would play cards with the grandkids and all these different things. So I have some good memories that I'm privileged to remember now as an adult. I didn't remember those things until recently. But he was also a very violent man. He had issues with alcohol, and so there was violence connected to his addiction. And so my grandmother often bared the brunt of that violence. And so, growing up, I would see the different scars on her from being cut and other things. And so when I think about Argrow's house, my grandmother, even in the midst of that suffering, she was very strong, and she was sweet as pie. She was so sweet. The reason I believe in God, the reason I believe that love is possible, because of how she treated people. My husband actually encouraged me to name the Women's Center for Healing, or the Women's Healing House, after my dear grandmother, which I'm grateful for him, Reverend Dwight Ford, because of her story and her journey, and what she means to me. She passed away many years ago, but what she means, and what her legacy means for me and my siblings and my cousins and my aunts and uncles and my mom as well. I know that if there was a place like Argos House when she was alive and going through those issues, that maybe she wouldn't have stayed in that violent relationship most of her life. And I also know if there was a place like Argos House, she would have loved to be a part of a mission like this, helping other women as well. So we do it in her name. If you look, most people don't know because, at first our logo, we went through branding over the years. At first our logo was my grandmother. She had it was one of her pictures, and we had turned it into a logo. And though my grandmother's very beautiful, it kind of aged our product a bit. And so we had to kind of modernize the logo. So if you look here, that's actually my grandmother's profile. So this is actually her face, which actually looks a lot like my little boy's profile.
Oh,
But you'll see her face in all of our logo and products. And then the tulip represents growth and empowerment. Oftentimes we'll use the colors purple in our logo and other places for domestic violence awareness, and teal for sexual assault awareness. And so you'll see we're kind of intentional about certain things connected to our branding, and also the story of my grandmother and how this work was birthed.
what's beautiful about, the memories of your grandmother and growing up, and she had pain, but was able to provide you with fun memories and sweet memories of her and your grandfather.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, my grandmother, I remember, I come from a family, she worked very hard. She worked for General Electric, I remember, but she worked in like the factory division in North Carolina. And so she was the only one that held the job for all those years. My grandfather didn't have a full-time job, and she had 8 children. So, and many, many grandchildren. And so, she was a very hard worker, and had to feed a lot of tummies. Um,
Hmm.
and I remember her sacrificing. I remember one time being a little girl, and it was Easter, and I was from, I grew up in the church, the Christian church, and so everybody, liked to dress really nice for Easter. I was a teenager. I think I was maybe 12 years old, in middle school. And so I wanted to wear a nice dress, also.
Yeah.
But for different reasons, my mom wasn't able to afford a new dress for me at the time. She had 5 children as well. Once my mom got old enough to have children, and she started having children pretty early. And so, there were 5 of us, and I really wanted that dress, a nice dress. So I remember my grandmother taking me by the hand, and she said, I don't have much, but I think she gave me $20, and we went to a store called Super 10, and she got me a white and black dress that I wore, I think, until I graduated from high school.
Oh my gosh.
It was so sweet. It was a little thing, but that dress became so important to me because she bought it for me, and I know she sacrificed for that pretty dress. And she just knew that, that was a way to show me love and,
Yeah.
adore me. And that was just, something that's really small that I just never forgot either. So she was just a kind woman, had a mission heart, cared for a lot of people, visited a lot of people when they were during their good times and their bad times, and just journey with people every step of the way in our community. And so, I am grateful that we're able to do similar work through Argrow's house. And yeah, that's the foundation of what Argrow's house is built on.
So Arger's house is in the Quad Cities, and
Yes.
you grew up in North Carolina. And I know you had a lot of leaps to get to the Quad Cities. What was your path here?
Oh, well, my path has been different. My background is in international community development work. So, I've been really blessed to travel all around the world doing community development work and studying as well. So, throughout Europe and Asia and Africa. And so I was really blessed to have a um, really rewarding youth, and career before coming to the Quad Cities. And still, I still have a very rewarding, like, I guess it's not youth now, it's more like middle age way of being, which is fine. I'm okay with that. So I met my husband, who had a similar background. He had been a Marine, so he had done extensive traveling, but then his journey took him to Harvard Divinity School, and I went to seminary in Berkeley, California. So we had similar backgrounds, and a common thread of people through social media. So he cyber stalked me for a few months. And
That's the way.
I finally gave in and said hi and talked to him, and we haven't talked. We haven't not talked since that day.
Yep.
I finally said hi. How are you doing? After months of kind
He's
of
like, yes, finally.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So, but he's from here. His name is Reverend Dwight Ford. He grew up. His family's from Mississippi, but during the Great Black Migration, when Black people were looking for better jobs, they pretty much followed the Mississippi River up from Mississippi all the way to the Quad Cities looking for better jobs. So his mom became, they put him in the car when he was 3 years old, drove up here. His mom became a preschool teacher, and his dad became he worked for the state, cleaning up the snow and the roads and other things. And so, they were able to move from, small town Mississippi to the Quad Cities and provide a middle class income for their 5 children.
sure.
And so my husband had left for the Marine Corps and then studies and ministry. And then he came back to be the director of the Martin Luther King Jr. Center back in 2014, I think, 2000, maybe 2013. And then I came here, dated him for about a year. We got married and, have been here. So my journey, I was a chaplain at Genesis Hospice for a while. Then I was a professor, still teach part-time at St. Ambrose, professor of theology and women's studies, full-time for a while, now part-time once I started Argos House.
Mhm.
And yeah, moving things forward with Argos House full-time now. And doing some other things. So yeah, that's my journey. My husband brought me here. I know that's the story for many women who aren't from the Quad Cities. But I'm grateful, the Quad Cities is a place where you can really develop some beautiful relationships with people.
Mhm.
A place where people genuinely and authentically want to help other people.
Yeah.
And they want to serve each other and come together as much as they can for the common good. And I think that that's the reason why Argos House has been able to grow, within the last 4 years. It takes a village, and our village within the Quad Cities has said, okay, they have said yes to Argos House. And because they've said yes to Argos House, let's do this together. Let's help women heal. Let's journey together hand in hand. Be it through buying a soap from Argos House
Yep.
or donating or volunteering their time, we've been able to move this because of our Quad City Village.
Yeah, the Quad Cities is definitely full of people who reach out and check in, that kind of a mentality. And the cool thing for those who may not be familiar with the Quad Cities, we are 2 states right hugging along the Mississippi River. And so you have the ability to, dabble in Iowa and dabble in Illinois, and now you've expanded into 2 states with this mission, which is beautiful, and more lives are impacted that way. So in the quad, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, yep, for sure. And it is interesting, we've been in Moline only for a couple of months, so we're working to develop the relationships on this side of the river and, let women know we're here as a resource. And, we're in the Quad Cities, and it literally takes me 5 minutes to get to my son in Iowa, because you just get on the bridge, and you're in Iowa again. So it's interesting going back and forth, but it's a reality for a lot of people here going back and forth from state to state.
And so, in the Quad Cities, like you said, it takes a village, and we've got that here. You found that here. With you and your husband and your children and your schedules, you're a busy bunch. And I just gotta ask, how do you keep the positivity? You exude a positive attitude, and it can't always be easy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I think for me, I take things one day at a time. My daughter is always very, she has a lot of energy, and so, I have to remind her, Mom can only take one thing, one step at a time. I think for me, my faith, is huge. I remember why I'm doing this work, and it has nothing to do with me. I think I'm able to stay humble in this work because of my own experiences. When I was a Peace Corps volunteer years ago, I became a survivor of an extremely violent sexual assault. And so, the reality of going through a case, the guy who assaulted me got 46 years in prison, or who sexually violated me and other women got 46 years in prison. I wrestled with post-traumatic stress disorder and had to take different therapies along the way. The reality of needing financial assistance because of really working to get healthy again. And so I understand and empathize with what the ladies are going through, and even when it gets difficult, because I think I have that personal experience that I had to go through. It makes me tap back into, okay, this is why I do this. This is why we do this. I had that support, but not everyone has that support. So let's make it happen and let's move forward. And you get 6 to 7 hours of sleep tonight, Dr. Kid, so that you can get up and be okay tomorrow and keep trucking, So I take it one day at a time, and I've realized that I don't have to do this work alone. So I work to set up systems to provide that help and support, so that I don't have to do the work alone. We have a great board of directors as well, that has really been instrumental in moving our organization forward as well. And donors, we just had, you may have heard someone in the background, we have a donor that's been with us from the beginning, who's a beautiful woman, Barb Montgomery, and she just stops by, oh, I need this soap for this organization. Or actually, I saw one of your survivor employees in a newspaper. I wanted to bring her a gift, and just I was thinking about her, So it's like little things like that that are big things that just keep us going.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and for sharing the story and the hope and plans for the future. And before I let you go, I do have to ask you one very important question.
Yeah.
I want you to fill in the blank. QC, that's where.
Okay, QC, that's where we have people who, look, I'm thinking ride or die together, people who are, together in community. We have a beautiful bridge right along the Mississippi River that my daughter absolutely adores. We drive by it and she's like, oh, so beautiful. We have a beautiful city that, is grounded in love and community, and support, that just happens to be right along the beautiful Mississippi River.
Thanks for listening to QC, That's Where, a podcast powered by Visit Quad Cities. Text Visit QC to 38314 for insider events, activities, and updates sent straight to your phone. That's VISITQC, one word, to 38314. Message and data rates may apply.